Howdy folks, welcome aboard the channel. I'm Don, this is Rockin' the Country, where I react to non-pop country music. Mostly traditional, but there's bluegrass, there's some folk, there's some Cajun on occasion, Western certainly, but non-pop. And this certainly fits the bill. I don't know the song, it's Bill Anderson's The Last One I'll Forget. And it's like, don't you just try to imagine, like, based on the title, all right, what's this going to be about? Sad, happy, funny, just sort of very lyrically oriented, deep. And this one is, it really could be a twist where I finally met the woman that I'm with, and the last one I'll forget was prior to her, or it could be anything in this one. But it's a gift from Harry Workmon. So Harry, shout out to you. Thank you for this. And Harry, you said that this is Bill Anderson's latest or most recent release. So this should be fascinating. I didn't know Bill was still making new music because he's been a very busy guy in his career, hosting various shows and so on. But let's see what we've got. And I got the official lyric video from Bill's channel, so I don't think we'll have a problem with this, but sometimes when they're this new, there can be a problem with it, but we're gonna find out. So thank you for the gift, Harry.
He held her hand and whispered, I'm not a young man anymore.
No.
I can't do a lot of things I used to do before. Life is like a mountain, and I'm on the downhill side. He looked out toward the sunset and smiled, said it's been quite a ride. And you have been the best part of my years. And I don't know where I go from here.
Oh no.
But one thing's clear. If I ever lose my vision, I'll stare into the dark and see your face. And if I lose my hearing, I'll always hear your sweet voice call my name.
Yeah.
I still love you just as much as I did the day we met. And if I ever lose my memory, you'll be the last one I'll forget.
Oh, yikes.
And you have been the best part of my years. And I don't know where I go from here. But one thing's clear. If I ever lose my vision, I'll stare into the dark and see your face. And if I lose my hearing, I'll always hear your sweet voice call my name.
You know, as Bill has gotten on in years too, as anybody, you have reflections, and a guy like Bill has an outlet for his thoughts. So you're always thinking when you're an artist. Whether you're a choreographer in dance, you're modern dance or ballet or whatever, you're always thinking about new movements, phrases, length of pieces, tempo, level change, all sorts of combinations. When you're a lyricist and you have an outlet for it, you're always thinking of ideas. And when you get older in life, you're contemplating life because you do want to pass things along to other folks. It's not your sole motivation for writing songs, but you do want the younger folks to understand life. But the more life you've lived, the more stripes you've got, the more scars you've got, the more joys you've had, the more perspective you have, You could put it in things like this. Talking about dementia, if I lose my memory, you'll be the last one I forget. It wasn't until penicillin was discovered, wasn't invented, it was discovered, that the average worldwide age in industrialized nations went from about 30. That's all people lived. You'd get a tooth infection and you would die from it. There was no way to stop it from progressing throughout your body. Average age was 30. Within a generation or so, the average worldwide age went up to about 60. It almost doubled. And then other medical advances and discoveries have us up to about 80. People didn't used to die of dementia. They died much younger. And there just wasn't enough time for the brain and the different things to happen within it, plaque to build and all that, that prevents new memories from forming and anterograde amnesia from happening, that or retrograde amnesia that Bill is talking about. A song like this couldn't have been written 150 years ago. It wouldn't have been thought of. But it's the voice of experience, and Bill has the outlet for it.
I still love you just as much as I did the day we met. And if I ever lose my memory, you'll be the last one I'll forget.
That's brutal. It's poignant, sweet, brutal.
You'll be the last one that I'll forget.
The harshness of that line, because it bespeaks that there's a possibility that that could even happen. And as humans, just due to the way the brain has evolved over the certainly more than millennia, the eons, if you will, if you believe in evolution. Some folks believe the biblical account, and that's fine too. I don't disparage anybody for having a belief, but some people go by a literal Genesis account that mankind's 6,000 years old. Regardless of how our brains got to be the size that they are, it differentiates us from men, not just the size, but when you study the anatomy of the brain and sort of different theories and connections that we've made between the lobes and the rest of the body and life and memory and all these things, the brain, human brain, we contemplate things that haven't even happened. Now, I don't know if animals do that. I don't have that penetrating insight. I don't even know how we could craft studies, and maybe eventually we'll understand what is going on inside the mind of animals. Maybe we'll come up with different detection devices that enable us. But for now, I'll just say we even torment ourselves with the knowledge that something could happen. Fear plays into that. This could happen. And sometimes people turn possibilities into probabilities, probabilities into actualities, and then they live currently in a state as though something is happening when it is merely a possibility of happening in the future. Now, Bill isn't saying that in the song. I'm just pointing out as a matter of, I look at things philosophically. I look at things through my other line of work, if you will, as a life coach or a decision coach or a situation coach, where I look at current situations people are going through, whether they're contemplating divorce or staying with somebody or getting married for the second or third time, or switching careers, or how to handle a horrible relationship with a child, and assess those situations from a neutral standpoint and give them ideas. But a lot of what people live with is the unknown, the fear of the unknown, what could happen. And fear intensifies it. But that also speaks to human nature. A song like this couldn't be written about the future because we actually contemplate the future. We try to safeguard ourselves against the future. But to share that idea that if I lose my memory, you'll be the last one I forget. And it's like, oh, that's such a touching line that you love me that much. But at the same time, it's like buying life insurance. in a sense where, okay, you want to provide for me, but it means you're dead. Like good news, bad news. And that's this. Such a simple song. I was expecting piano. I didn't hear piano in it. And I was glad about that. I love the piano too, but I like to see that there's a different artistic take on poignant songs. And this just had that guitar. It had some orchestra behind it, a little bit light under it, just meant for Bill to talk his way through this song. And there is something about a shaky voice singing a song. When Brad Paisley did that song with Andy Griffiths in the video, Waiting on a Woman, there's something about bringing in an older man into that song. I reacted to that thing a couple years ago, but it was blocked worldwide. But Andy Griffith's age, his cadence, the way he talked, because he was older, much older than Brad in that video, and it just gave this air of experience. And that's the thing about a quivery voice due to age. And you just feel so much more humanity coming through it. So Harry, this was beautiful. I'm not quite sure, other than the beauty. Never question somebody requesting a song. I always think, I wonder why this song. And just Bill Anderson's Bill Anderson. He's a country mainstay, country family reunion and all that. But you hear somebody older sing this, and it's like, yes, it's a love song from him to his wife. It could be anybody can insert themselves into this, but there was just more to it. If I lose my hearing, but it really does emblematize the fact that life comes to an end. And I think it was Robert Frost who had one of my favorite quotes. I quote it quite a bit, actually, when I talk with people, but he said, in 3 words, I could sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on. And you're like, oh my God, whether I'm here or not, it goes on. It does. It keeps on going. Try making sense of it, which we do through spiritual lenses, through scientific lenses, through psychological lenses, sociological, all these different ways we look at life. But still, it gets down to that interpersonal component, that part of a relationship where I've been with this person for 40, 50, maybe 60 years. And we both know what could happen. One of us is dying first. And then you try processing it. Eventually, you could talk about it. Generally, when you get older, you get more comfortable with the idea of death because it's around you. Your friends die, other people die, and you talk about it more freely. I knew that when I was taking care of my mother in the Villages in Florida, world's largest retirement community, and you just talk with people, whether you want to or not. They're going to tell you about their medical problems, their doctors, this or that, but people just get much more comfortable talking about life and death. And that was in this song, basically. So I got to rate this thing, Harry. And I'll go with the number that popped into my head immediately, and it was a 9.3. In some ways, it was very simple, but I like simple. Notice how much I got to talk about subject matters that resonate with me based on an extremely simple song. And I love that. It was meaningful. It was meat in very few words. So there you go. All right, guys, you can thank Harry Workmon for that one. Have a great day. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country.